So there's a new duck movie out, and it's surprisingly really great. So I'm gonna spend some time talking about it. If you enjoy this type of thing, please let me know down below. Please like, subscribe, and yeah. So Illumination has been pumping out a heavy stream of content for years now, mostly relying on the unpaid labor of these ugly yellow Tic Tacs, the true spawn of the devil, minions. I hate minions. So do a lot of people. I was a child when the first Despicable Me came out, and let me tell you, that movie was revolutionary. It was funny, it was cute, it had Vector, and I loved it. I watched the others, but couldn't tell you much about them. What I do know is that somehow these yellow mutant garbage creatures, well, they've become the face of not only the studio, but seemingly recognized across the world, from old people on Facebook to kids on Halloween to... So, there's a new Illumination movie, and it doesn't look particularly amazing on the outset. It's an animated movie about birds, but the first thing that you'll quickly learn is that these aren't birds, they're ducks, so stop calling it a bird movie, and stop thinking about birds. This is a duck movie. It's a movie about ducks, so get with the program. It's a duck movie. Alright, let's move on. The next thing you'll learn is that this duck movie is particularly charming in its characters and their respective relationships within this duck family. Kumail Nanjiani plays the dad duck, who is very comfortable in his ways and not looking to try anything adventurous. This causes conflict with essentially every other duck in his family except Danny Duck Vito, who doesn't really give a shit about anything. But I promise we'll talk more about this guy later, so don't worry. Now, Duck Mom, who's played by Elizabeth Banks, encourages Duck Dad to go on a migration, which, for the purposes of this movie, it's an adventurous vacation. So, Duck Daughter and Duck Son are instantly on board, and I want to talk about how refreshing this very quick part of the story is. This isn't a movie where Dad Duck gets reluctantly pulled along on the adventure and finds no meaning in it until the very end.
Big super fun family migration!
What?
Ha! Bet you didn't see that coming.
Are you serious?
Yep, an adventure into the totally unknown. And I'm gonna love it.
He decides for himself that he'd like to go on this migration despite his fears and despite the conflict within him telling him not to. It's refreshing to see a character making decisions that they're not comfortable with. It shows complexity, and it shows a love within the family, which we're also going to get more into later. So this is something that particularly stuck out to me about this movie. The family conflicts really, for the most part, don't feel forced. This is a unit that loves and looks out for each other from day one, and that doesn't mean that things don't get messy. They do. Dangerously messy, family drama, but it's built up throughout the movie and not thrown at us as exposition. This is most exemplified by Duck Son, who butts heads with his father, but again, we're gonna get into all of the different family dynamics more in a bit. The Duck family, unfamiliar with the outside world, spends a brief stint in New York City where they meet Awkwafina, and she gets hit by a bus.
Just stick close to me and everything will be all right.
The family is told that one bird who can help them get to Jamaica is trapped in a cage of a chef. And let me tell you, this guy is nuts. He is so committed to his work and has such a sense of vengeance that he spends this entire movie hunting a specific family of ducks with a goddamn helicopter because they freed Keegan-Michael Keybird so he can bring them back to Jamaica. Anyway, unfortunately, our duck family and the Keegan-Michael Keybird accidentally wander into what seems like duck heaven, and it even has a duck cult led by David Mitchell Duck.
We don't want to scare our guests away, do we? Hello, friends. I am Gugu. Welcome to our humble abode.
Well, the place they're staying at turns out to be what can only be described as a death camp, because ultimately these ducks also belong to, guess who? The chef. So now the chef has beef with like a whole flock of ducks, and he pulls out all the stops. He's determined to capture them and evoke justice against them. And again, I cannot stress this enough. A family of ducks. Like, get new ducks, bro. Like, why are you traveling around the world in a helicopter to find these specific ducks? They're ducks. They're ducks. I kind of absolutely love how unhinged this guy is. Like, I mean, do you think he has friends? Like, do you think he has a family? What do they think about his duck hunting helicopter and his deadly encounters with with ducks that he wants to cook? I don't know. I want to know more about this guy, but that's a story for another time. Okay, I'm going to talk about each specific duck in the family, and then I will be talking about their relationships with each other and give you a sense of how this was built up naturally throughout the movie. Starting with Duck Dad, who we touched on already. This guy's name is Mac. Sorry, I knew that. So we've already kind of covered his basic character trait, but his relationships with Pam, who is extremely optimistic and constantly pushing him to try new things. They have a very loving partnership, and it's shown many times through their support for each other and their children. In particular, one very cute dance moment that pays off really well because they have to sort of dance to defeat the It's all very silly, but, you know, super fun kids movie way, and like, I think it works out. The two of them, you could feel that there's just a lot of love for each other that's pretty non-judgmental. They have unconditional love for each other, and it's shown many times throughout the movie, and it transfers down to the kids. Let's talk first a little bit about the kids. Duck's son's actual name is Dax, and throughout the movie he looks up to his dad, admires his father's leadership qualities, and aspires to be like his dad in many ways, and also be his own duck. He wants to help people, he wants to go out, and even if things are a little bit dangerous, he's willing to put his needs back in a way that his father is still struggling with. And this creates the main conflict between the different members of the Duck family. Now, Duck daughter's name is Gwen, and she doesn't really have much of a role beyond, I guess, being pretty cute, fun little kid, Duck. I will say that the most entertaining and the most enticing that I found her character was her connection to Danny Duckvito, whose actual name is Dan, Uncle Dan. He's Mac's brother, and he really doesn't have a massive presence throughout the movie purposefully, though I do think that there were times where it could have been more useful to show what he was up to. There was one part where I was watching the movie, and Duck Mom and Duck Dad were separated from the kids, and I had no idea where
where Danny DeVito's Duck was like, I did for like a good like 2 minutes at least. Like, he could have got either way. Was he with the kids? Was he with the? I had no idea. They just didn't show his character for like a while, and then they kind of did again when it was time to like, I don't know. It was really funny to me. But what I'm trying to get at is that he had a really sweet relationship with Duck Daughter, or Gwen, and really everything he did, if he felt like doing anything at all, which was rare, was for her with his niece, which was really sweet and fun to watch. And also he was there with the family the whole time, so that counts for something. So that is all of the members of the Duck family and their respective interrelationships with each other. And now I'm going to talk about some of the larger themes and messages before saying goodbye.
When they finally get to Jamaica, it's as majestic as they hoped, and Dad Duck is happy with his decision to have taken his family on this migration. They meet some penguins who have somehow wandered to Jamaica and need to go home, and leave room for a sequel, I guess, in that respect, but generally wraps up the movie, the story nicely in a way that actually makes you feel pretty good. So my ultimate point is this. This original movie, with the new cast, in a new setting, that focuses on the humor and emotional core of the characters, is going to spark my interest a lot more than the 15th Minion movie. This isn't something exclusive to Illumination. We see this everywhere, whether through cinematic universes, adaptations of existing stories, the endless reliance of the few iconic, memorable moneymakers showing up in everything and expecting an applause. This is not to say that sequels or adaptations are inherently bad. Of course they aren't. But if the mindset is on what's going to trend most on the internet and what sells millions of toys, well, these studios lose the magic and become tired cash cows. A sequel isn't good because it's a sequel. It's good if it has a story to tell, and it tells it well. Original stories like this have a lot of ambition and a lot of heart. This heart that is abundantly present, and I truly hope continues to pave the way of intentional, heartfelt, original storytelling. Thank you so much for watching. You can check out more of our videos here. We do all sorts of TV related stuff on this channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next thing. Alright, have a great day.
Look, we get totally naked because you don't want to get wet. We ball our clothes up, we stick them up someplace high. There's this waitress who Charlie's in love with, and I banged her. Charlie got really upset when I banged the waitress, but it was a lot of fun. She was a nice piece of ass.
We don't know who you're talking about.
Charlie, he's my buddy. We sleep together, we hang out together. Once I pooped in the bed. I blamed it on him. One time the guys got hooked on crack. It was really crazy. Well, they found a baby in a dumpster. They wanted to make some money with the baby, but nobody would buy the baby because it was white. They had to turn it brown. We were fighting over the sword, and just about when we were about to hit each other with the sword, social services came in. We thought we were killing the baby.
I don't understand this talk.
Charlie wrote this musical. Oh, man, it was really funny. I play a troll on the musical.
Troll?
Yeah, and it's called The Nightman Cometh. I can sing you my song if you like. You gotta pay the troll toll to get into this boy's hole.
Yeah, I kept saying,